Why, hello there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. DB333, and welcome back to the new campaign trail. And last time we opted in together with new campaign trail, we played American Carnage as one Donald John Trump. And despite what the polls said, and despite what the Electoral College said, and despite what objective reality said, we knew that we won the 2020 election. And we, alongside some proud American patriots, did some persuasion. And by that, I mean a violent coup that murdered multiple politicians in order to keep ourselves in office. It's going to be a lot less violent. A lot more technically cool, though. Well, maybe, arguably, I don't know. American Carnage has a lot of cool little technical details going on in the background, but this is kind of straightforward in a way, also not straightforward at all. This is the 2016 Democratic primaries. This scenario has a special place for me because this is really when I started paying attention to politics. Well, he's paid attention to politics before, but this is like the first election year. So like 2015 into 2016, I was paying attention big time. I was watching the debates. I was fully in it all. And now, I think it's time to go ahead and hop in and show, go back in time with this little time era. So as Obama's second term wraps up, a fight for the future of the Democratic Party has begun. Hillary Clinton, who once appeared as the president's uncontested successor, must now face off against Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders in the long primary process. With Vice President Joe Biden out of the running, it appears that the race will mostly be a one-on-one fight between the two wings of the Democratic Party, the progressive left-wing flank against the establishment right-wing flank. Go ahead, shout out the edits. A special shout out to It's Astronomical. He commented on my End of History video that I did viz. And I hopped into his coverage stream of the British elections that they just got done having about a month ago, actually. A month and 4 days ago. And when I'm recording this. So that was fun. I did want to check out another one of his mods. So I want to hop in as a true icon of the Democratic Party and the left-wing cause in the United States. A man who was unfairly snubbed. A true political hero. An icon. Someone who never got a fair shake by the party. And someone who I believe had the election stolen from him and rigged unfairly. I'm, of course, talking about Martin O'Malley, baby! Martin O'Malley is a former governor of Maryland and seems a rising star in the Democratic Party. His main problem is that he is underfunded and sits between the two main candidates in terms of policy. In addition, he struggles with name recognition outside of his home state of Maryland, which will make going up against two very well-known candidates a tough challenge. As he has potential, yet limited appeal, with those leaning towards Clinton and Sanders, he must walk a fine line to appeal to both sides in order to deadlock the convention, denying the two a majority on the first ballot without his help. While it's unlikely he will be the nominee, perhaps he could be a running mate to Clinton or earn a cabinet position in a Sanders administration. Maybe, just maybe. You cannot win as Martin O'Malley in the traditional sense in this. You can't get a majority of delegates, but and this is the very fun part. And this goes into like the convention nomination process, which is a little more complicated than the normal elections, which American elections are a little bit more complicated than I think other nations are. When you think, it's not just whoever gets the most votes, it's, well, the states have certain votes to them. The person who wins the most votes in that state gets the most states, unless you're in Nebraska or Maine. It's kind of complicated. The primaries, well, actually, they have a system set up later on, right after this screen, but we gotta check out this screen first. Got to select our campaign chair, which we're going with Bill Hires. Bill Hires is a well-rounded hire for a chief strategist. He's worked on a variety of successful campaigns, such as Senator Gillibrand's original 2006 House campaign, Philadelphia Mayor Michael Nutter's campaign, and of course the high-profile Bill de Blasio campaign for New York City Mayor in 2013. This experience will likely help O'Malley get some organization going outside of his home state of Maryland, where he's likely to perform best. His reputation of pulling off upsets is likely to be a benefit to O'Malley, but given how poorly he's polling, it's unlikely that he will be able to take much advantage of this anyway. Whether or not Hires actually believes O'Malley can win is relevant. The most important thing is to just put up a respectable performance. So this is proportional delegation. So under this message, all candidates split the delegates in the state in proportion to their popular vote percentage. There's still an advantage to winning the state. The winner of a state will always receive a plurality of delegates. For instance, in a state with 4 delegates, if candidate A wins 51% of the votes, they will be awarded 3 delegates. Compared to winner-take-all method, this method aligns the delegates more closely with the popular vote. It also makes it easier to smaller candidates to increase their delegate totals, since much of their support may be spread across the country rather than localized within one state. The Democratic Party primaries, they've all been proportional since modern primaries began to take shape, whereas the Republican Party maintains some winner-take-all races. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hit normal. Let's take a look at that map. And admittedly, it's not looking the best for us right now. We're looking at 5% support. We're not even on the map in Iowa or New Hampshire or Nevada, which are the early ones. We could maybe get Alaska. Maybe these different islands. Democrats abroad, probably not. We're doing quite well in Maryland. Delaware, we're right nearby, so we could get that. Anyway, our issues are trade, voter base, voter motivation, Obama opinion, and racial diversity. There we go. I like Vermont as a voter base pseudo-Bolshevik. That's funny. Oh, that very, very funny. Anyway, let's get back to it. The year 2012. The occasion, the DNC. You have the honor of addressing several state delegations and sharing your endorsement of Barack Obama for a second term in office. Is giving you free reign to talk about whatever you want. What state delegations will he speak to, and what subjects will he touch upon? Well, let's make it clear what we're gunning for. After I give a speech about how Maryland and this nation always moves forward, I'll directly talk to the Iowa delegates about the challenges Iowa is facing, and the solutions they're looking for. A gutsy move, and it seems to only further discussion about your inevitable run. Thankfully, the Iowa delegation has a warm response to you. Very warm. We got maybe 6%. It's still 2012, almost halfway into your final term as governor. One of the ways you can take advantage of your public image as political moves you make as governor. One issue you're pushing hard on is the legalization of gay marriage in Maryland. How hard will you campaign for the ballot initiative in November? Civil Marriage Protection Act referendum is a great opportunity to emphasize my liberalism on the primary stage. Maryland is leading the nation not only in our economic recovery, but our economic rights and the ability to live the American dream. An energetic response, and one that gets a lot of enthusiasm from liberals. The Civil Marriage Protection Act referendum passes 55% to 45%, and what many are calling a major vindication for gay rights. There we go. So, from my understanding, the scout I'm looking at is telling me to visit New York early on. And you know what? Why not? After the tragic Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, there's been a national renewed interest to curb gun violence. The state legislature is asking for your input in a legislative package. How do you want to shape this bill? That's not the one I want to do. That's just the top one. What happened in Connecticut last December was nothing short of a tragedy. We're going big with this package to protect our citizens. We will be raising the age to purchase firearms to 21 and implementing new license requirements. Strong response, and one that will help you make headlines, not just in Maryland, but nationwide. Oh, we're almost out in Maryland now. You know what? Take it. No other opportunity to flex your political might has arisen. Maryland's reconsidering its current minimum wage law. Will he push for legislature for a specific increase, and what exactly will the new minimum wage be? That's quite simple. $15 hourly minimum wage by 2020. There's no realistic way for people to live on $7.25 an hour in this country. The rumored increase to $10.10 is simply not enough. This proposal is aggressive yet decisive, and he successfully negotiated the Maryland General Assembly to change the plan to a $15 minimum wage by 2020. Many progressive corners are pleased. There we go. Over to New York. Beltway discussions of your expected candidacy continue as you begin to wrap up your term. Now the Maryland General Assembly is discussing marijuana reform. What specific changes to the law will you push for as governor? We can establish ourselves as a common sense yet liberal and progressive by declaring our support for the decriminalization of marijuana, and then pledging our support for a ballot referendum on full legalization in 2014. This is a pretty smart move since it enables you to defer the issue to the voters. As your last term as governor of Maryland wraps up, it's clear your intended supporter, Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown, is having some trouble in the race to succeed you. Republican Larry Hogan appears to be closing in on him on the polls. What will you do to help him? First, are there any ballot initiatives we can get on the ballot in time? Second, we need Brown to hammer on Hogan's indecisive nature on key issues, such as his overall stance on the ACA. Lucky for you, Anthony Brown is re-elected as governor of Maryland, defeating Larry Hogan by 3 points. Embarrassing? Maybe a little. Could it have been worse? Well, absolutely. Let's get working on New York. It's May of 2015. You've officially announced your run for president, more than a month after Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Many are wondering, why'd you wait this long to officially announce? What have you been doing since you left office in January? I needed some time to think about the work I helped do in Maryland and the sort of work I wish to do for the country. I decided to run only recently, and we're still getting staff together. This is a fair response, but your lack of preparation seems to have left Clinton define the race, with Sanders somewhat behind. Well, how are we doing? Well, we're at 6.3%. That's not too bad. All right, Martin, let's be frank. You're polling at 5%. In national internals, you've got no funds, and as time goes on, this is going to keep being a problem. What will you tell your uneasy donors? Was Clinton not down in the polls in 1992? Was Obama just a little-known state senator 4 years before he won? Things can change pretty quickly, and I will double down on the fundraising calls to prove it. Bold statement, but the donors seem to get the message. That's what I'm talking about. New York, here we go. The early caucuses and the primaries approaching within a few months, CNN has invited Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, Chafee, Webb, and you. I like how we're just Chafee and Webb. We don't even acknowledge the other guys. Will you accept an invitation, and if so, what will be your focus during the debate? Well, of course, we'll head to Nevada for this debate. I have full confidence we can really make the case for a true third option in primary. Polling shows Clinton is not as trusted by voters, so we should go on the offensive here. As expected, this will hurt Clinton more. Polling shows people believe Bernie Sanders won the debate. The issue of trade is expected to be a major contention point between the two frontrunners. Clinton seems to have shifted to being more protectionist in an attempt to cut into Sanders' support, such as opposing the Trans-Pacific Partnership. How will you define your position on trade? What we need is fair trade to ensure that human rights abroad are protected in exchange for trading with us. We can also gain protections for our workers, too. Pretty mild response on this issue, but perhaps that's a good position to stake out. There we go. Let's do New York. Polling shows Clinton as potentially vulnerable in some territorial primaries. These primaries are small, but could offer an advantage if you're looking to gain delegates. Is there anything you'd like to do to take advantage of this? One of my advisors is telling me about some signature deadline. No clue what this could mean. He's been looking into it. It seems we got our papers in sooner. Let's ask him to look more into it. As it turns out, neither Sanders or Clinton handed in the paperwork to get on the ballot in time in any of these states. Well, states. They may try to get some write-in campaign, but you've essentially won these states by default. Oh my god, look at that. We got American Samoa, we got Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Northern Marianas, and Guam. We're winning Guam. We're like Jason Palmer, except we're winning at least more than one race. Actually doing pretty well in Maryland, look at that. It's clear that this campaign may not have been making the splash you particularly hoped for, especially financially. However, you're now eligible to accept public campaign financing. This could be a big boost to your campaign, but it could also keep you from spending so much in certain states. Will you accept the public campaign funding? I want people to be confident in my administration, and there's a lot of stigma surrounding public campaign financing. I think we're better off not taking the money. You have the point, although McCain did win the nomination even after getting public campaign financing. Well, we know how well that went for McCain, so I'm just saying that. Let's go to New York. As he left office as governor of Maryland, Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown succeeded you. Given his incumbency, it's clear that he can use his newfound influence to endorse you and get the support of more governors. How will we convince him to endorse you? Well, I want to win this, so I'm going to have to inspect element to get the answers. Well, we'll be cordial and frank about this. His help in getting some governors in the state party to back me would be incredibly valuable. We've worked together in the past and continue to do so. Anthony Brown is able to work his magic and gets Delaware Governor Jack Markle to also endorse you. You'll get a much-needed boost in both states. Oh, look at that. We got Delaware and Maryland. D.C. is resoundingly in favor of Clinton. I don't know if I fully realized that, but that's interesting. We're almost ahead in South Dakota. Look at that. A series of coordinated terrorist attacks have tragically occurred in Paris today, killing over 137 people and injuring hundreds. I need to change the banner real quick to better reflect things. No. Yes. As a result of these attacks, the start of the next Democratic debate hosted by CBS will feature initial questions on foreign policy. What's your stance on foreign policy? I'll offer my condolences to the wonderful people of Paris as they heal from such a terrible and cruel terrorist attack, and talk about the need for modern training to combat terrorism. Sanders quickly attacks Clinton back for her vote to authorize the Iraq War, and a shouting match ensues. Polls show that no candidate really won the debate in the eyes of viewers. Maybe good news for you. Let's do New York. After floundering in the polls for months, he finally picked up a major endorsement. Unfortunately, it comes from Lyndon LaRouche, a cult leader, convicted felon, and infamous fount of conspiracies ranging from the bizarre and downright bigoted. Citing your banking policy, he claims that you are the only one who I would consider qualified to be considered for selection of the president. How are you going to respond? Is there anyone clamoring for Lyndon LaRouche's opinion right now? Dragon's guy in the spotlight is exactly what he wants us to do, and we won't do anything good for us. Let's ignore this. By and large, no serious journalists are willing to cover LaRouche's endorsement, so staying quiet is probably the right play. Still, his devoted followers remain a minor, though chaotic presence, disrupting Clinton rallies and DNC functions in your name. You know what? It got us to 7%. Why not? Once a more fringe left-wing political topic, climate change and global warming have become a growing concern among Democrats, independents, and even some Republicans. What is your stance on climate and green issues? I will reject projects like the Keystone XL pipeline, deny new permits for drilling in Alaska, and direct the EPA to adopt a zero-tolerance policy for methane leaks from current oil and gas production. South Dakota Democrats appreciate the pledge to stop the Keystone Pipeline, and progressives seem to enjoy the concrete policy proposals. We're still behind in South Dakota, but that's... can catch back up. We're at 10% of New York. Let's see if we can boost that. Less than a month to go until Iowa, and NBC News announces the criteria for the upcoming NBC News YouTube Democratic debate in Charleston, South Carolina. Some of these polling requirements may not be achievable for you. What will you do? This election is not up to NBC executives, not up to pollsters. It's up to you, the people of Iowa. I will criticize the network for its decision to raise the limit right before the crucial state of Iowa. In a shocking turn of events, both Clinton and Sanders demand you join them on stage, and eventually NBC relents. Perhaps they both thought you'd be useful to them. Regardless, you performed admirably. Ooh. Well, as the Iowa caucuses draw near, it's clear that after this point, a lot of your donors are going to dip, but the results in Iowa are underwhelming. Do you have any contingencies planned in the event this occurs? What measures you will take for the extra funds ahead of this critical juncture? We'll post a last-minute fundraising haul with some heavy attacks against Secretary Clinton. On many key issues, she's not been going as bold as we need her to. We need all the support we can get. If you're going to hurt Clinton to increase your vote share, this route will help you. You also do see an increase in funds. Well, there we go. Back to New York. Earlier, you made a comment about permanently blocking the Keystone XL and Dakota Access pipelines. Native American organizations are interested in backing you to Clinton's silence on the issue. What will you do to win them over? I'll make it clear how serious I am, no matter how risky. I'm going to join the protests that are going on in person. We're going to earn the trust of the activists and prove how serious I am. I got to move, but activists get the message loud and clear. They'll be barnstorming the Dakotas to attempt to swing them into your favor. Well, look at that. That lost us in South Dakota, at least, and we get nothing in North Dakota. Feels bad. It's officially the day of the Iowa caucus, the first contest in a series of presidential primaries and caucuses to determine the Democratic nomination. Where within Iowa would you like to campaign today? We'll campaign in Davenport today. Manufacturing is our industry here. We'll make sure our message about supporting the working class with inclusive capitalism are clear, especially compared to Clinton. The Republican side, it appears that Jeb Bush has won the Iowa caucus in a shocking upset. Now let's see how it plays out for the Democrats. Alright, so this is cool. So we have like multiple little elections like this. And what are we looking at? So 46.7 to 46 to 6.9. Nice. Snags us 3 delegates. Sanders gets a narrow majority, but we're still pushing on. After results in Iowa, you're faced with a big issue. A good chunk of your donors are veering towards moving to Clinton. What damage control will you take to avoid a catastrophe if you can avoid one at all? Well, there's nothing I can do to persuade those leaving to come back. We've just got to work with what we have, and we'll see what happens, I guess. You're being realistic for once. It seems many are flocking to Clinton. Perhaps no matter what you say, it'll be hard to change their minds. Alright, Martin, let's be blunt here. Do you still want to run for president and compete in the reigning states? Well, the road may not be easy, but I think we can do better than a lot of people assume. I'll stay in the race no matter what. By and large, the Beltway talk is that this is a two-way race. Best of luck to you. Listen, we're ahead in South Dakota. We just gotta keep on keeping on. Over the next few weeks, the 3 remaining primaries, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina, will commence. While your campaign will make the last pushes in all 3 areas, where would you like to make an extra effort around? Many reporters have stated a lack of proper coalition and that have done poorly with non-white voters. A strong showing in Nevada could prove this campaign is as diverse as ever. Making a respectable showing in Nevada could perhaps continue murmurs of your campaign. Let's see, we got South Carolina, Nevada, New Hampshire. Let's see how we do. Well, we got 1. We got 2. We got 3 delegates from this all. Oh boy. 5.6, 2.1 in South Carolina, 4.4 in New Hampshire. That's not. Barack Obama being the current president, many are wondering, how do you plan to address his legacy as you campaign for the Democratic nomination? I endorsed Clinton during the 08 primaries, but I supported the president whenever I could. Obamacare was a massive step forward, exactly what we needed. Obama still remains heavily popular, and given that you've worked for his administration, it's easy to see how you're able to tie yourself to him. Well, let's do New York. After those early primaries is now here, Super Tuesday. With the largest amount of delegates up for grabs in a single day, where will you choose to campaign? Where you choose to campaign may be a critical decision. Where would you like to close out before Super Tuesday? Let's take a whistle tour of the South. Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Virginia. Maryland isn't exactly southern, but I think we can increase our margins here. Victory in Oklahoma is imperative for Sanders, but Clinton is favored in Tennessee and Virginia by wide margins. Well, here we go. %18 in Virginia, that's not bad, actually. 11% in Georgia, 10% in Arkansas. Actually, isn't too bad, all things considered. Mass, Vermont, picking up some states. Also, American Samoa got called. Let's check the current delegate count. So Clinton has 569, Sanders has 429, we have 23. Well, I haven't heard the bell yet, so. How are we doing in Alaska? We are very close in Alaska, actually. Holy shit. As Super Tuesday comes to a close and you enter more favorable territory, one issue Democratic voters are starting to take more notice of is the growing wealth gap in America, a topic that's been red meat for Bernie Sanders' campaign. What is your proposed solution to this issue? Well, if you're going to make it easier to raise a family in this nation, we need universal paid family leave and paid sick time, just like the rest of the industrial world. Universal paid leave is a solid solution, although it's clear that solving the wage gap will take a lot more than paid time off to solve. Let's do New York. Michigan is one of the states set to hold their primary very soon, along with Louisiana, Kansas, and Maine. Polls consistently show Secretary Clinton with a large lead there. But who knows, right? Perhaps some miracles happen. Yes, Martin, miracles happen, but this miracle was really for Sanders. But who knows, maybe you can get over the 15% barrier. Well, we got nothing from these deep south states. We got 3.6 in Michigan. Oh no. After that massive polling error in Michigan, it's becoming clear that Sanders is becoming way more than a protest vote. This has caused more and more of your campaign structure to collapse, and it seems you may not even be able to compete in Ohio due to signatures being thrown out a while back. What's your plan now? Okay. I promise you guys this. We will at least keep campaigning to Maryland, but use most of our funds to pay off existing debts as I continue to make campaign stops. Deal? Sometimes it's impossible to stop the bleeding, but those who remain agree with your proposal. Unfortunately, it seems you will not be on the ballot in Ohio. Damn, that's fucked up. Today, 5 primaries in key states take place, especially in Florida, Missouri, and Illinois. Which one of these would you like to campaign in ahead of time? Well, North Carolina is close to Maryland. I think we can invest the most amount of resources here. I want to loop around the research triangle. Your passion is appreciated by your supporters, but not many else seem to even notice. Oh, they will. I mean, 24 or 70%, that's not bad. 3% in Florida, that's meh. 2.2. Nothing in Ohio. 4.3 in Illinois. That's not horrible. How are we doing in delegate count? Clinton has over 1,000. Sanders is 868. O'Malley has 47. Although the state is yet to vote, Pennsylvania's Senate primary could be a unique way to get yourself involved in the state and flex what influence you have in the party. Would you like to endorse a candidate in the race? Well, Joe Sestak seems to be running against the establishment. I want to tie our changes in the state to his. If he wins, perhaps we can outperform expectations in the Keystone State. Sestak doesn't seem interested in your endorsement at first. However, he eventually does invite you to campaign with him, as he narrowly wins the opportunity to rematch Pat Toomey for a United States Senate seat in November. Well, there we go. Electoral reform has become a huge issue among Democrat voters ever since 2010, when Citizens United versus FEC was decided by the United States Supreme Court, allowed unlimited contributions to super PACs. Gerrymandering, often by overzealous Republicans, have also led to the Republicans having a built-in advantage in the House of Reps. What is your plan? Push for electoral reform. We need to protect the Voting Rights Act. We've seen in Shelby County v. Holder that this Supreme Court has no problem stripping away such crucial rights. Voting to protect the VRA is one way to maintain your massive support amongst minority voters. Well, there we go. All right. Over the next weeks, a variety of primaries will occur, specifically in western states that pundits view more favorable to Senator Sanders, such as Washington, Alaska, and Idaho. Which of these would you like to focus on? Alaska may be small, but perhaps we can peel a delegate or two from the state. I think Clinton is wildly unpopular, and we can take the mantle of a sensible, traditional liberal candidate. He seems to be pulling okay in Alaska, but that's probably only because of Clinton's comments on fossil fuels. We'll see if you get any delegates out of it. Okay, we got some delegates out here. We won Alaska. Let's go. I mean, we did okay out here. Got a whole 27 delegates. Not much at all, Jesus. 7.7% Hawaii. Well, that's not bad. Let's go back to New York. Back in March, Secretary Clinton said that we're going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business. When talking about energy policy, it's becoming clearer and clearer that this one-off comment is going to cause some bleeding for in coal country. Is there anything you can do to take advantage of this? Isn't there a protest candidate running? Paul Farrell? Perhaps we could get him to back our campaign. I know I've promoted green energy in the past, but I will always stand for creating new jobs and protecting American workers. Farrell reluctantly agrees and endorses you. Perhaps pulling in Never Clinton voters is a good idea after all. Oh, look at that. We're winning West Virginia now. As the May primaries approach, you begin a modest rally in New York with a live stream covering the whole thing to an also modest national audience. What topic would you like to specifically focus on today? Let's talk trade. Fair trade. I want administration focused on making deals that benefit all Americans regardless of where you're from. I propose TPP and will oppose any deal that hurts Americans. New York looks at trade more favorably than the other states, but talking about fairness is probably the best angle you could push if you wanted to scoop up undecided voters. It actually hurts us more. We're under 10% again. Well, let's keep slamming on New York. Over the next few weeks, some big primaries, such as New York, the Coachella primary, Indiana, and Kentucky are set to take place. This will also crucially include your home state of Maryland. Which of these states would you like to focus on at the end? My campaign team thinks I'm insane, but I know Maryland's probably our best bet. I'm going to stay put here and also rally to local leaders who have endorsed me. Revisers breathe a sigh of relief at your apparent realization of the hopelessness of this. Nevertheless, Indiana papers appear to have had a polling upset in Sanders' favor. Another Michigan, it seems. Alright, one of the many election nights has arrived. I like that little flip that he does there. That's done there. And well, we got West Virginia. We got 10% of the vote there, so that helps. A little bit in Penn. A little bit in Oregon. We won Delaware. We won Maryland. We won West Virginia. All pretty huge. On the other side of Indiana, businessman Donald Trump has appeared to have secured the field to win the Republican nomination. Meanwhile, an aide for your campaign comes in contact with an anonymous individual who claims to have information that could damage Secretary Clinton's campaign going into the final weeks. What will he do? Look, we got nothing to lose at this point, but I want this done by proxy only. I can't risk anything happening in this campaign, but, you know, we have to make sure this stuff gets out somehow. Gamble that has paid off. The emails are leaked showing how the DNC favoring Clinton attempted to bribe both you and Senator Sanders' campaign. Even some superdelegates are disturbed. Buckle up. The final primaries are heading for an interesting outcome. Oh boy. Well, we still got some time. South Dakota is still open. Let's go South Dakota. After the events of yesterday, certainly the most contentious Democratic primary since 1968, the news is on loops discussing this. Is there anything you'd like to use to discuss to the advantage of your campaign? From leaked debate questions to the fundraising pact, it's dubiously clear that the Clinton campaign took advantage of their front-runner status to deny both myself and Senator Sanders the ability to have our voices heard. I'm so glad I stayed in the campaign this whole time. This is an aggressive attack that will certainly stick as Congress dogpiles onto Clinton. Well, here we go. It's early June now, and after over a year campaigning, final primaries are set to begin. Where would you like to close out the campaign? We'll spend the last few days in Montana and the Dakotas, giving some stunt speeches as I make my way from Missoula to Sioux Falls. This visit will be a perfect opportunity to steal Sanders' populist thunder. That is, if you could find anyone willing to listen. Well, it's 2382 to win. Well, we got South Dakota. Did the second best in North Dakota. We got Puerto Rico. We got some of these other islands. It's 2382 to win. But those super delegates. Oh, those fucking super delegates, Jesus. Well, let's visit the super delegates. As polls begin to close in California, here's where the trouble begins. Unpledged delegates, also known as super delegates, that are unelected and affiliated with a party, are able to vote on the first ballot. Is there anything you'd like to say to keep these delegates away from Clinton? Clinton and Sanders are both candidates with major issues. We must deny them a majority on the first ballot and discuss a proper compromise to unite the party. A few of them got on board, but you're playing a very, very risky game if you're somehow able to pull this off. That helped Clinton. Okay, shit. After over a year campaigning, here it is. Philadelphia. What was your final thoughts before you prepare to step into the convention today? Serving as governor of Maryland was the great honor of a lifetime. If I'm selected as the nominee for the Democratic Party, I will serve and campaign with that same level of honor and passion. Inspiring words. We have enough delegates or not, best of luck to you. 2382 to win. We'll only find out once we go back to the questions. Hey, yo. There we go. Wow. You have deadlocked the Democratic National Convention. No one was expecting something like this. Kudos for you for being able to pull this off somehow. This is the first time since 1976 that a major party convention won't have a candidate with a majority going into it. After a long, intense primary for the Democrats, this is not the ending many would have hoped for. Nevertheless, be prepared to enter into deep negotiations with both Sanders and Clinton. You have the power to play kingmaker during this convention, so use that clout to influence the party platform. It's possible you could become a running mate to one of the candidates or set yourself up as a future party leader. Or perhaps you will release your delegates. Whatever you do, you will be remembered far more than a governor of Maryland. So what, 3382. So, hold on. 2382, sorry. 82 minus... Clinton was 45 delegates off from winning. Whew! So your closest states, out of curiosity. Illinois was close. Connecticut, close. Iowa, close. Missouri, close. Ohio, close. And superdelegates were pretty close. Well, here's a historical result. A future reading. Lots of special rating if you want to check out. What are you doing playing the mod again? Don't tell me what to do. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. Yeah. We did it. There's a sequel mod. I might play that if I get enough feedback or suggestions to do so. So just let me know if you guys want to see that in the comment section below, or if you want to see any other mods in the comment section below. Until then, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, gang. Like, dislike if you didn't. Hit the sub button for notification bell. Keep updated with uploads. I upload weekdays as well as occasionally Saturdays, so if you want to check that out, go and do so. Down in the various buttons below. That's going to be it for now, my friends. I thank you all for watching. My name has been Mr. Dogboat333. I thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.